Good afternoon. First and foremost, I wanted to apologize for the fact that this is late. As you can tell, I'm recovering from an upper respiratory infection, and over the past few weeks, my family, various members, have been ill with variety of things: stomach bugs, upper respiratory issues, and the flu. So if it's hard to understand me or hard to hear me, I'm sorry. I'm going to try my best to speak out and speak clearly, but I apologize for any interruptions. First and foremost, the importance of home economics is what speech number two, this one, is about. And I really think, as a student teacher, as someone who is becoming a teacher and will teach middle school and high school students, that it is imperative that we teach our young students, our young adults, family and consumer sciences, stuff that's going to benefit them in the long run, and not make it an option, something that's required for them to do. So, what do you do when your favorite blanket or your favorite pair of jeans get torn and they don't make that brand anymore? Or what do you do when you want to make your grandma's favorite biscuits, and you can't find the recipe, or you don't know how to bake? Or you're trying to do your taxes. I mean, we all have to do our taxes if we go to school or to have a job. So over the course of the generations, we've really lost touch with our roots. We've really lost touch with being able to do these things successfully and be able to have the abilities and the knowledge to do these things. And I think graduating from high school and becoming an adult, doing adult things like getting a job, having bills, responsibilities, having a car that we have to maintain, is really imperative that our school system teaches our students and our young adults how to do these things, require it in schools, and make it imperative that they learn these things before they leave school. You know, I really believe that upon being an adult, when I was pushed into graduating high school, I joined the military, and I don't know how many times I've had to sew my uniform, or had to cook meals for myself and my friends. So how can we implement these new and required basic life courses in school, and what can be taught, and why is it important, is the main points in the speech. And adding classes, what we can do is add classes, add required classes, reinstitute family and home economics, family and consumer sciences, and make classes like a cooking class required. Make classes like a sewing class a requirement. Budgeting and personal finance a requirement. And in that class, the students will learn how to balance and budget their money, how to pay for things, reasonable things like groceries and bills, and be able to see, okay, well, I make this much money and I have this many bills. What can I do to balance that budget and be able to save, or at least survive? And then patch clothing, change their oil, or at least check their oil, check their tires, and those kinds of things. So how do we implement this? How do we add these in? Well, first and foremost, talk to your student body and ask what they want to learn, what they need to learn. Talk to the teachers in the school system. Bring it up at school meetings. Really do your research and find out what is needed for the environment and the community that you're in. Like here in Palmer, Alaska, here in Alaska in general, hunting and fishing is a huge thing. Berry picking, the gardening is a really big thing. We live really far away from the lower 48, so getting stuff up here, like we saw during the pandemic, could be a problem. There was food shortages and things like that. So being able to take a survey of the student body, take a survey of the teachers and the parents, take a survey of the school and the community, and then come to a student meeting or a school meeting and talk to the school board and say, this is why we should have these, and let's work together to implement this. And just keep pressing the issue, keep talking about it, keep getting people interested. More people are interested, more people are going to go to the school board. So that's really important to put that foot in the door. And basic life skills are important. We need them. We need to know here in Alaska how to fish, how to sew, how to properly and respectfully berry pick, how to, harvest things from the land and be appropriate and be respectful to the land and to the Native Alaskan people and their land. So it's really trying to build a generation full of young adults and people with respectful knowledge, but also knowledge that they're going to be able to have basic life skills to set them up for the rest of their life and generations. I believe the pandemic really started to help this with, food insecurity and the inability to go out to eat a lot, and it really thrust us into a portion where we got back into some of our roots. I've seen a lot of people gardening. I've seen a lot of people hunting and fishing. A lot of people learning how to bake. It's really imperative that we feed into that and we really grow that interest for young children. So upon graduating high school, the majority of young adults cannot do their taxes. They don't know how. They've not been taught. They cannot check their tire pressure, balance their budget. They can't cook properly. They have convenient ways. And what I've talked about in my previous speech is the convenience. And as we saw during the pandemic, like I mentioned, that can be ripped out from under us in a moment's notice. So it's really imperative that us as adults and the teaching staff and the school system and the state in itself really prepare and help our students. So in conclusion, I believe it's really paramount that we implement home economics class for the benefit of our young adults and generations after us. Thank you so much, and I really hope you guys were able to hear me well. I apologize again for this being late and also my scratchy voice. So thank you again, and I appreciate your time.